If you're starting New World right now, I have one thing for you to do. Be a tank. Please, God, be a tank. What's up, guys? Steven with Level Up MMO to talk to you about the huge tank problem New World has. And before we get into it, yes, I know tanks are hard to come by in almost any MMO, but I want to talk about New World specifically because I think there are some things in here that it can improve upon that will change the way that we are set up currently when it comes to tanks. So as I mentioned right there, I know that this is a problem a lot of MMOs have. However, I think that some of the things are specific to New World and action combat MMOs in general. When you're tanking, let's say in World of Warcraft, a tap target game, it's a little more fun because you're actively doing a lot of different things. You're hitting different buttons. You don't have to sit there and hold a shield up. In New World, that is a lot of what you do, is just hold your shield up and avoid things. You dodge, you shield. You dodge, you shield. You shield until you're out of stamina, and then you just try to run away. You don't get to do a lot of the fun stuff. You don't get to attack as much, and that makes it really hard to entice people to play the role. This has led to finding tanks to be a very, very difficult thing. If you're just going out and trying to find a tank for your group via putting in chat that you're in Group Finder or just posting Group Finder, sometimes you'll look and you'll see 4 or 5 full groups except for a tank. There will be 5 groups over an M10 Genesis looking for just one tank. And of course, that means that your wait times are going up and up and up as they just decide to pick this group or that group. Solutions to this that people say are basically join a company, which maybe has some tanks in there. Or when you find a tank, add them on your friends list and try to form a specific group that you run with all the time where you all save your runs. Again, if you're doing mutators, you're limited to 25 a week to run with each other, because this is another problem with finding tanks is basically they are highly sought after, which means they have no problem filling out that 25 a week mutator goal. So once they're all done, they're out. They can't tank for you anymore. So you have a limited pool, and then some of them get taken off the market. Again, not the best situation. And it really comes down to tanks in general not being the most appealing because people like to deal damage and whatnot, but also because it's just not that fun. And when you combine the lack of fun with the pressure that tanks have, right? And this is something that either draws you to the role or pushes you away from it, is that you have a lot of weight on your shoulders. Just like with a healer, you're drawn to these roles because of their importance, right? As a healer, you want to do it because you know that there is pressure on you. It makes you more focused. It makes you feel that you're important. Tanking is the same way. If you are somebody who cannot hold aggro, if you can't do mechanics appropriately, then you shouldn't be tanking. But that means that you have to be focused and you have to be doing the right things, and people like to play those roles. But that's the only reason people are still tanking in this game, I think. It's because they have that little bit of ego, that little bit of desire to be important in that group. And I like that. I play a healer for that purpose. And before I was healing, I was tanking. I don't really DPS in many games because I feel like it's kind of the cop-out way. Yes, I know you got to be able to push damage high, you got to do all that sort of stuff, but most of the time they try to avoid mechanics. They don't really, like, the weight isn't on their shoulders. Groups don't live or die as much on those until you get to, let's say, you're speed running or you're doing M8s, M9s, M10s. Then there's some pressure there on the DPS, but even then, most of the blame gets thrown onto the tank or the healer, and some people like that pressure, and that's why they do it. But because of this, the way that it's played in this game, nobody's doing it if they're not one of those people. So what can we do about it? Part of me thinks that the short-term solution may be to provide some sort of incentive for people to tank these things. Maybe they get more luck on the run. Maybe they get 5 extra runs so people can kind of use them a little more sparingly and not be too specific. I don't know exactly what incentive there could be, but something to drive people in that direction while they work on something else I think they need to do. And that's going to be reworking the whole thing, the mechanics, all that stuff, to make it a more enjoyable experience. I think they did a great job stepping in that direction with the greatsword. I healed my very first M10 greatsword tank, and he was having a lot more fun, I think, than the sword and board. He got to do some unique things. He got to feel like he was hitting more buttons and attacking more and getting things off because of the fact that it has the life steal. He can block with it. They have the defiant. They have just different stances that really help with tanking. And so they've done a good thing. But we need the sword and shield to be reworked a little bit, or to just have the mechanics change a little bit as a tank to allow for more of those things to be fun. If they do that, it will attract more players. While I don't think we will solve the tanking problem as a whole, because again, it's just not as attractive as dealing the most damage, attacking really fast, as just left clicking and hitting your ability buttons, it is going to be more enjoyable, and of course will help alleviate some of that pressure. So now I want to know, what do you all think? What are the solutions? Do you think it's a big of a problem as I think it is? What are your experiences with this? Let me know in the comments down below, or you can swing by my stream, twitch.tv/heartbreaker_TV, and let me know live. Would love to have you guys over there. As always, if you find this video helpful or you just enjoy the content, you like MMO content, subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. I appreciate you taking the time, and as always, good luck in your adventures.